Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Just Chat English podcast.
Welcome back. This is our second weekly news episode, and today we have 5 stories, plus a bit more time to talk about them.
That's right. Today's episode is a little longer because there was just too much interesting news to leave out.
As always, don't worry about new words. Just relax, listen, and let the conversation carry you.
All right, let's start with a difficult story. This week, wildfires destroyed hundreds of homes in Spokane, in the state of Washington, in the United States.
Yes, I read that some families went back to their neighborhoods and found nothing left. Just a chimney and a pile of ash where their house used to be.
That's such a painful image. According to officials, the fires destroyed upwards of 700 structures.
And what's shocking is that a suspect has already been arrested in connection with one of the fires.
Wait, so the police think someone actually started it on purpose?
It seems that way, at least for one of the 3 fires. Investigators are still looking into the exact details.
If that's true, it makes the story even harder to accept. A natural disaster is terrible enough, but if a person caused it, that's a different kind of tragedy.
Exactly. It also shows how careful communities need to be during hot, dry summers, because a single spark can destroy an entire neighborhood.
Let's move to our second story now, which takes us to the Middle East and a very tense situation near Iran.
Right. Tensions between the United States and Iran have continued this week, and there's also a new development involving the Strait of Hormuz.
For anyone who doesn't know, the Strait of Hormuz is a narrow sea passage between Iran and Oman. A huge amount of the world's oil passes through it every day.
And this week, a cargo ship was reportedly hit by a projectile near that strait. The crew had to abandon the ship, and one sailor is still missing.
That's worrying, especially because so much global trade depends on ships moving safely through that area.
At the same time, there are reports that Iran and Oman are close to finalizing a deal that would reopen and reorganize control of the strait.
So basically, while there's still danger and uncertainty, there's also a diplomatic effort happening in the background.
Exactly. It's a strange mix of conflict and negotiation happening at the same time, which honestly happens quite often in international politics.
I just hope the diplomatic side wins in the end. Nobody benefits from a wider conflict in that region.
Completely agree. All right, let's move to something much more positive now. A wonderful sports story.
Oh, I love this one. Alexandra Eala, a 21-year-old tennis player from the Philippines, just won her first WTA Tour title.
And not just any title. She became the very first Filipino player, man or woman, to ever win a title on the WTA Tour.
She beat Jessica Pegula, who was the top seed in the tournament, in a final that was interrupted by rain and had to finish the next day.
She actually came back from losing the first set. She won the final set 6-0, which is a really dominant way to finish a match.
What touched me most was how she talked about her fans afterward. She said she felt so much love from the Filipino community supporting her.
Yes, and even Manny Pacquiao, the famous boxer, sent her a public message of congratulations.
It's a great reminder of how one athlete's success can bring an entire country together, even people who don't usually follow tennis.
Definitely. I think we'll be hearing a lot more about Alexandra Eala in the coming years.
Now, let's travel back in time for our next story, all the way to ancient history.
Yes, this one is fascinating. Archaeologists in Turkey have just discovered a marble statue that is around 2,500 years old.
It was found at the ancient city of Sardis, and it's more than 2 meters tall, so taller than an average person.
The statue shows a young man, and experts believe it dates back to around 470 to 450 BC, which was during the time of the Persian Empire's control over that region.
What I find really interesting is how it survived so well. It was actually reused by the Romans centuries later as material to build a street.
Oh, wow. So people literally walked over a piece of ancient art without knowing what it was.
Exactly. And because it was placed face down in the ground, its face and details were protected for over 2,000 years.
That's almost poetic in a strange way. Something forgotten and buried actually helped preserve it perfectly.
I love stories like this because they remind us how much history is still hidden right beneath our feet.
Completely. You never know what you might find when you start digging in the right place.
All right, for our final story today, let's talk about something modern and genuinely inspiring. Drones saving lives in Rwanda.
Yes, this is a story about technology actually helping people in a really direct, human way.
In Rwanda, a company called Zipline uses drones to deliver blood, medicine, and vaccines to areas that are difficult to reach by road.
Many villages in Rwanda are located on hills, far from paved roads, so a normal delivery by car could take hours or might not even be possible.
There's a story about a woman named Noella who was giving birth and started losing a dangerous amount of blood.
The hospital didn't have her blood type available, so they requested an emergency delivery, and drones brought the blood to the hospital within minutes.
Doctors told her afterward that without that delivery, she likely would not have survived.
That's incredible. On average, a drone takes off in Rwanda roughly every 50 seconds, carrying something that could save someone's life.
It really shows how technology, when it's used the right way, can solve real problems for real people, not just make life more convenient.
I completely agree. It's a great example of innovation with a genuine purpose behind it.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's 5 stories.
We went from wildfires and international tension all the way to a tennis champion, an ancient statue, and life-saving drones.
If you enjoyed this longer episode, let us know and tell us which story you liked the most.
And remember, following real news in English is one of the best ways to build your vocabulary naturally, one story at a time.
Thanks so much for listening with us today.
See you in the next episode of Just Chat English Podcast.